Reef and fam, what's going on? March here, Fragbox TV. Reef, I'm Kella. We are in Munich, Germany, and we are in the basement. What a crazy, crazy setup. Where do we even begin with this video? Maybe with this 12 foot by 4 foot by 4 foot massive display tank, 20 years old, covered in coral, huge fish, like just beautiful examples of so many different types of angelfish. Look at the size of this fox coral. Man, what a cool, like 1 foot cube of just solid LPS. I love fox coral, such a special piece. Emperor angels existing alongside so many beautiful corals. I guess there's enough in here that even if it's picking on them, it doesn't matter because this massive tank is just packed. I don't know what kind of light I'm looking at. We had a little bit of a language barrier. I couldn't really ask all that many questions. It looks like he took an ATI hybrid sun power, but then took out all the T5s, but then moved the LEDs off to the outside. I really don't know, but it seems to do the trick because this thing is just fully packed. Gorgonian, like 2 feet tall. Absolutely love this piece. So nice for adding height to the tank. Makes it look super, super natural. I think these are called Bourbon anemones. But they're everywhere. They've just completely taken over, but they're so cool. Look at this one, like just existing out like in the middle of the pagoda cup coral. And everywhere you look, you see a few of them. They get really, really long. They're really not that common here in Canada, but this tank was just absolutely plastered with them. And it looked like the owner really liked them. Didn't really mind. There's probably well over 200-300. You can't really count how many are in there. Love this. Tunes built in the rock powerhead, something we never see anymore. Very old school way of creating flow, but completely hiding the powerhead in the rock work. Can't remember the model name, but I really like them. Monty Cap colonies, like same thing. 2 feet across. This is what happens when you have a tank and just let it run for 2 decades. You end up with just beautiful plating, very natural effects. There's actually a nice eel hiding underneath there, but I couldn't get a clean shot of it. Bird's nest, stylophoras, again, these just massive, healthy, classic corals. Classic corals that I remember when I started in the hobby about the same time, maybe 20 years ago. Tortusas, stuff like this. We call them green dragon back at our store, but these classic, easy to keep SPS corals that really are just super forgiving. And this is crazy. This, I think it's like branching Alveopora, but I've never seen it growing off back glass. We see GSP, we see Zoas, Cyphastria, never seen branching Alveopora just completely take over the back pane of glass. I really love this. I wasn't sure what it was, Confusa maybe, but the purple on green polyps. Confusa is cool because it'll kind of grow in different patterns. It'll plate, it'll finger, it'll encrust. It does all 3 different growth patterns that we expect from Montipora. And it's just nice to see. Stylophora, Pasillipora, bird's nest, hybridization, all 3, all of the above, not sure. But for me, the size, it just feels like you're really in the ocean. The tank is very low, so you're greeted with it at eye height. Everywhere you turn in this basement, there are tanks. Something like, I think he said 10,000 gallons total. This room is just so overwhelming when you first walk in. So I'll just jump into one tank and show you these anemones because you can't help but appreciate how beautiful they are. Greens, yellows, red, Munich, Berlin, sunburst, no fancy names here. We actually couldn't communicate all that much, but it's nice to see how useful Latin names are. This is the one time I realized, damn, when I say, oh, Montipora capricornis, he goes, oh yeah, Montipora capricornis, or, some sort of, this is just a funky other sort of plating Monty, again, coming off the back glass, or Euphilia glabarensis. I would get stumped with corals, but we were able to communicate, even though there was that language barrier, through the Latin names. I really love these pipes that he built to showcase, and it lets you get right underneath the torch coral to see the most important part, which is the flesh band. You can see if it wraps around, you can look for pests, eggs, flatworms. Ingenious and really easy to move them around, create different heights. I've never seen, I guess Top Shelf Aquatic has something similar for their acro system. I've never seen it applied to torch corals, and I think it's really, really helpful. Okay, another massive display tank that's so unusual because built into the side, it's really an all-in-one. It's another 12-foot tank, but the sump is inside the tank. It's like, but not like an all-in-one like a Reef Casa with a little section in the back, huge full-size skimmer, and then just everywhere you look, corals on top of corals on top of corals. You could be here for days, and I'm sure you wouldn't be able to see everything. Really nice Yumas under a ton of light. And I wanted to ask him how he's able to keep them, because when I put Yumas under high light, they don't look like this. You can see that they're clearly reproducing. There's babies popping off. They're everywhere, so they're doing well. But look what's in the background. What do we have? ORA, Hawkins Inchinata. Is that Inchinata? Yes, is Inchinata. Again, back to the Latin names. High light, super high flow, right next to it, Yuma. So I was a little bit stumped, and I wanted his secrets, but I couldn't get them there. And it just couldn't make me happier to communicate with someone else with Latin names. Is this Pavona? Yeah, Pavona. Okay, I'll stop doing my crappy German accent, but underappreciated corals like this were everywhere. Stuff that doesn't really sell for us back in the store, but I simply love. T5's alive and well in Germany, but this guy's using every single light. He had VHO, he had T5, he had LED, he had this stunning marine beta. Wow, there's really no other fish like this. I'm not such a fish guy. For me, it's all about the corals, but this is one that really gets me going because you don't confuse it with any other fish. It's so cryptic, it's so beautiful, like this blue Dalmatian of the ocean, and this was a big, nice example. I loved it. These were cool. Floating frag holder rocks on the back. There were so many different ways that he used to showcase the corals, and I love this. Oh, pulsing xenia. Is there anything better? No other coral actively moves. Maybe on pulsing anthelia, but really moves like that in the current, and it's just so hypnotic and easy to frag too. You just grab a razor blade, you can slice it right off the back glass. Montes, I'm stumped here. Sorry, flower pot, purple flower pot, but very strong white light, which I really appreciated. The whole system, the whole setup, the whole basement, very, very powerful white light. So you could really show off those things. Now, I don't know how he keeps track of everything. There must be, I don't know, 300 pumps in here. It's so many plugs, but our basement's kind of the same. It's just you know how it works. You when you build it, you know where everything grows. Like, so if someone comes in and they don't know what they're looking at, it looks kind of crazy, but it is organized chaos to make this happen. Even behind, I don't know how he would clean all the pumps, like, or service all the stuff, because there's just so much equipment, so much custom work, plumbing, electrical. Took him 20 years or 20 years of growing and building them out, and the fish are also healthy. Stuff that I've always had trouble keeping ick free, like this powder blue tang. There's Achilles, there's copper bands, there's so many healthy fish and corals. I like to see these just big colonies, rounded, grown out favias, goniastrias, whatever you want to call it. And it's just probably the most impressive home operation. No, not probably. It is the most impressive home operation I've seen anywhere. It's got more coral than a lot of stores, more than our store, more water than our store. He's just done such a crazy and incredible job of collecting and growing and showcasing them almost in this like library that wraps the room. I wasn't sure what this one was. And then Echnopora. Oh yeah, chalice. Again, cup coral, stuff like that. Latin names. Guys, they're important. We're not using Dragon Soul Torch when we're in Germany. It's so nice to communicate with another hobbyist, and it really showed me the importance of the Latin names. And I can't stress that enough. Even things like this. I said Diaceras. He said, no, Cycloceras. So we're talking about plate corals, but they are quite distinct. They're quite different when we examine the different species of plate coral, what makes them distinct. So I can't stress that enough, guys. Go out and learn the Latin names, and it's fun. It's just fun to know them and test your knowledge. Very cool that he has these three. I always go back and forth. Stylophora, Pasillopora, which is which. I think these are Pasillopora. I only have the first two yellow and green ones. I don't have this one. I really like this green pollet purple one, but this Holy Trinity, the way he showcased them together, how they can just coexist and live happily, same species. Perfect example of, I don't know what you would call it, some sort of nice chalice. And then when you think it's done, you go down another corridor, there's more. It's behind every turn, there's more. I love this tank. He's really utilized the space well. It's all custom made tank, so he cuts it on a 45-degree angle so that you don't bump your corner, your butt coming in on a sharp edge. These are everywhere. Tanks are pretty clean, and it definitely helps to have some big long spine urchins. I would be very cautious with putting my hands in there. Would not want to get stung by one of those, but everywhere you look, lots of urchins, tangs. I don't know how he gets the size on these Acanthostrea lordowensis acan corals. It's so nice when they're puffy and fat. They're like donuts. They almost look like Bowerbankies in this shot. And he must have fragged these and had them for a long time, because from frags, they're getting to that almost what we call mini colony size. And I assume this is the mother colony. Maybe it's not even acantho. Maybe there's some sort of lobo. I don't know. I like getting stumped. I like when I can look at a coral and I don't know what it is. This, I'm pretty 150% sure though, is the Palithoa grandis. There's only one and only. Be cautious, do your homework, don't eat them unless you want to go to the hospital. Some very, very protective clownfish. I would not want to work in there. And nice to see some sarcophytums, some leather corals with cool kind of white tips on them. It's a good collection of just different species, acro all the way through to softie. I think now I went over to another room. This is where more of the softies, but like I said, every time you think you're done, this one is kind of sunlit. You come around a corner. Oh, we're not done. There's another tank. There's another corridor. There's some wild-caught yellow tangs. There's some weird LED lights I've never seen before. I'm telling you, every single light combination that you can imagine, this guy is using it. And I'm sure over the years, he's figured out, this coral likes this better or this one better. Branching GSP. For anyone that wants to say there's no such thing, look at this. It branches. We have some in the store. It branches out into open water, where if I find some of them want to encrust. I have 5 different types of GSP. I'm actually collecting them. It's such a, regular coral, but it's so beautiful. It's so easy. It's so mesmerizing. It's, what else can I tell you? It's the green grass of the hobby, and I love it. So he seems to share that same sort of obsession. Maybe a massive Kojiwada, some other sort of Nepthia, I'm not sure. White kind of peachish looking cabbage coral with white polyps. I dig it. I'm all about the soft coral. The longer I'm in the hobby, you guys know, this is what really gets me going. I want easy. I want to have a life outside of Fragbox. Galaxia. Maybe you thought it was torch coral. You're wrong. Way, way more aggressive. And it is just the stinger tentacle of death. But if you got room for it in your tank, there's really nothing like it. It's such a cool piece. And it's encrusting, again, up the side on the glass. Stuff that we usually don't use or see corals doing. Even like this, Gorgonian, glued to the side. I love that. Easy to frag if you wants to take cuttings off of it. And just such a cool, unusual effect to see it coming out that way. Beautiful gem tang. I'm sure there's some crazy fish that I missed. I'm not so much into the fish. The rockwork in the SPS tank, very, very cool. He has these epoxy little made spots so you can easily pick up and move colonies throughout the entire rockwork. This must have taken him so much time. You can see, obviously, it's all made by hand. Each little epoxy, each little joint, wherever you want to put a colony, it's actually ingenious. These are things that, only happen after so many years of reefing. Again, some other sorts of lights, not sure what kind, probably over, 15 different types. But the acro seemed to be really happy. A little bit of hair algae, he was telling me, because of the heat now in the summer. And electricity is very expensive in Germany. And nobody has air conditioning. Anyways, this is just the craziest, most unexpected setup I've ever seen. When I showed up, I just found it on Google Maps and I said aquarium, and the guy started going, I'm Kella, I don't know, I don't speak German. And then I realized he's pointing to the basement. I thought I was maybe going to get kidnapped. I'm not that cute, I'm not a kid. But anyways, it ended up being the most amazing, unexpected coral experience I've ever done here on the channel. If you ever find yourself in Munich, go check it out. You're going to love it. Stay tuned for the other episodes in Germany, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Let's keep going. Fragbox TV, Germany.